Okay, so thank you. Hi everyone for coming to the Kiali and Jaeger Sprint 41 summary and demos. So today we are going to have several folks, Davi, Joel, Edgar, Suka from the Jaeger team. And we are going to give you highlights that we have delivered on this sprint, and also Suka will do some demo at the end of the Jaeger project. So the first thing is that, as a reminder, so our backlog, all the issues that we have been working on this sprint is public. So you can check in GitHub or project. We have projects divided by sprints. So on the Sprint 41 project, we have delivered.
Lucas, you're not sharing. I think you're expecting to share.
Yes, thank you. Apologize. Okay, so thank you everyone for coming to the Sprint 41 summary and demos. Sorry, because I forgot to share and start talking, thinking that you were seeing the slide. So yeah, as I comment, so I would like to thank you everyone on the community, because on this sprint, when you can, tell me if you can see now the Sprint 41, right? I would like to show a little bit the canvas. So we have delivered a lot of bug fixing, a lot of issues on this sprint. And I would like to mention, I would like to thank you, the community, because I think that in the previous sprint and this one, we have more and more feedback from community users, just reporting bugs, just asking for suggestions for new feature. And this is really great to say, how all those people, users of the Kiali project, jump into the project, see or backlog or propose new things, because those inputs are very important for us, just to see what we can do, right? Okay, so Sprint 41 highlights. So the most of the work was under the hood, bug fixings or working on things that are less visible, but I guess we have several nice features to show. So the first feature, I guess, is related to the Istio validation, and I will pass the mic to Xavi to describe the improve. Xavi?
Hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, thanks to the community, as Lucas mentioned, we have different issues regarding validations, and one specific, it was people from Oracle. And there was a specific scenario we didn't cover, which it was TLS origin from the ingress or egress, and we end up finding out that we didn't support service entries scenarios on the destination rule one, especially for the subset, and it was something really useful, and it's something it's really useful for users, as we see from community. And yeah, we fixed that, we covered that. Now, as you see here, we have a destination rule with two subsets on your left side, the TLS origination and TLS pass-through, right? So those are relying on a service entry or a hub.oc Oracle Corp. This wasn't support. Now we support that, and you see that before you got on your right, you got this validation, the subset not found, TLS origination and TLS pass-through, and because they were pointing to this external host. And similar things we covered during this sprint, and we are keep on working to add more features covering more related service entries and others. Yeah, and that's it from my side, Lucas.
Okay, thank you, Xavi. So just reviewing more the features that we have been delivering on this sprint, we have some nice improvement from the Kiali chairs that were made by Joel. So Joel, would you like to explain us this one?
Yes, sure. So if you followed the past evolutions in Kiali, we had like a tracing correlation with metrics. So this metrics page here is showing spans traces spans visually correlated with the metrics. One issue that we had is that when there's a lot of trace and spans being displayed on screen, it can slow down the browser, so it can hurt the user experience. So what we've changed here is that when there's over 1,000 spans displayed on screen, it's transformed to a bucket displayed. The bucket displayed is, as you can see below, the chart below, all the spans are aggregated into fixed size in time buckets. Each of these buckets, as you can see, has, if you can see the tooltip, we can show the average, the minimum, the maximum duration for every span that is contained in that bucket, and also the percentile, the first quartile, the second quartile, and the third quartile. So now what happens if you want to, there's also some drill down mechanism when you have this bucket view and you want to go into the details. You can just click on one bucket and it will drill down into what is contained in this bucket. So it will like zoom in time within the delimited time frame given by this bucket. So yeah, that's it for this one. And next slide, please. So there was some other small enhancement in the Kiali charts pages, and also a new metric that comes in it, which is the request throughput and the response throughput. So this is giving the bit per second information that is already provided by Istio metric, but we did not show it previously because we show request per second. But in some cases, it's more interesting to see bit per second. So like, for instance, if you have a lot of data per request or streaming data or these kind of things, perhaps these metrics can be more relevant. And then there's small user experience enhancement in the UI. So for instance, we put back something that was that has been removed previously, which was the possibility to maximize one chart. So this is the cross button. So when you click on it, you see it maximized in the window. And also we can just collapse or expand every chart so that, and for instance, when there are charts with empty data, they are displayed collapsed by default. So for instance, when you have workloads that are only showing TCP metrics, it will be much better to see it because when you go to that page, you quickly have under the eyes just the TCP metrics, and that's not kind of polluted by empty data. And that's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Joel. So next we are going to talk about some improvements on the workloads on the Minigraph area, and I guess Edgar is going to tell us more details for this one.
Yes, thank you. Yes, this is the slide presenting the workloads logs. There is a new feature. You can see that there is a red box and an arrow showing exactly where are the new controls. Both one is labeled show and one is labeled hide. And these are for filtering the logs. So whatever you type in the first box, the log windows will get filtered and it will only show log lines that contain what you typed in the show box. Regarding the hide box, it's the opposite. If you type something there, log lines will be hidden and it will only show whatever doesn't match what you wrote in the second box. You can see that this log tab has two log panes. The one at the top is for the pod and the one at the bottom is for the sidecar. Both panes will be filtered, so you can use this new filter. I want to remember that the logs, this logs window is available only for workloads. It's not for application, not for services. When you are seeing the services page, not the application. So you must go to the workloads details page, and it will be available this log feature. That's it for this slide. You can go to the next one. Okay, this is a small improvement in the graph overview card that is available across all the services and workloads and also application page. Just to improve a little how to navigate across Kiali pages. So you can now click on nodes on the minigraph on this graph overview, and Kiali will navigate to the detailed page of the clicked node. It's single click, double click is not working, just single click. It's only working for nodes, so Edge is not implemented yet. So probably it doesn't make sense to implement for the Edge. That's it also for this slide.
Thank you, Edgar. So just talking about more features improvement that we introduced on this sprint. So in the overview page, so we have introduced the actions per namespace. So remember, in the card we have some links to to show the graph, the application, workloads, services, and Istio config. So now for consistency, we move all these actions on the car component, on the camera UI component, to be consistent with the same way that is in the graph and other details pages we are showing these actions. We have refactored a little bit the cars just to try to minimize the redundant information and just more focus on the traffic car, which is the most important. And also probably when we add future actions, we will use the same menu to, for example, to enable, disable a namespace or to enroll a namespace into the Istio. So this future action will be also added at this level as well. So another improvement that we work in Kiali was to simplify to handle the legacy Istio mixer configuration. Remember, starting in Istio 1.6. So Istio Mixer is legacy, but it's still supported. So with the both model Istio-D and all users that they want to keep Istio Mixer functionality there, because they may have adapters, not just migrated to the WASM's new architecture and so on. So for these users, we also try to make Kiali compatible with the old legacy mixers. And now the handler, rules, and instance can be configured in a easier way than before. Also, another improvement of this sprint is in the iterate extensions. So just remember, so we are work in progress to add extensions in Kiali. Extensions are the way to integrate other projects from the Istio ecosystems within Kiali, where Kiali can handle the configuration and can also correlate the same information provided for this station with other information that Kiali collects. Iterate is a project to perform A/B testings and to analyze results and decide, for example, in an A/B scenario, which version could be more interesting to move into, or which candidate version can be more interesting to progress in a scenario. So at this level, we are introducing new lifecycle actions for experiments, like to create, to pause, resume, or also terminate with a given error. Right? And yeah, that is for the Kiali site. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to give the screen and the mic to Shuka.
Okay. Yeah, so those here are the Jaeger highlights. On the OpenTelemetry front, we had one task that we are now able to infer which ports we should open for the OpenTelemetry collector based on its configuration. That's what I'm going to demo in a couple of minutes. And then we also had a new native Elasticsearch storage exporter. So that means we can bypass now the Jaeger collector if and use Elasticsearch directly. On the Jaeger side, we had a few performance tests on various local storage options. So we're still trying to figure out what other storage options we're going to use. And for that, we're going to need to compare the performance between the several local storage options. We had a couple of bug fixes as well, most notably support for OpenShift trusted CA bundles and Elasticsearch 5 and we had a problem with Elasticsearch 5 on OCP 4.4. We also did a little research on how Grafana's aggregating processor works. So this aggregating processor, the idea behind it is to send all the traces that belong together, or all the spans that belong to the same trace to one single collector, so that a tail-based sampling decision can be made on a scalable manner, right? So there was some research on our side on how it works. Yeah, so now for the demo. So I have here Minikube running, and I'm starting the OpenTelemetry operator. And so this demo is about the parsing of the configuration file to open the ports based on the configuration. Right. So for this OpenTelemetry collector setup here, we're specifying that we want a new instance of the collector named simples, and this is the configuration for that. And so we specify that we want to receive data on Jaeger data on the gRPC port. So we should open this one. So I don't have any instances here, so I can just show my examples. Now I can get OpenTelemetry collectors and services. So it opened 14.250. Which is the gRPC port for Jaeger. Now I can just then perhaps add also open census and apply again and get the services. And I see that I also have now the open census port here. Now that works also with custom receivers. So I have my custom receiver here. But because the operator does not know what is the default port for this receiver, we have to specify this one here explicitly. So when we apply here, we get the service, and we see 1, 2, 3, 4 here is also opened for both the simples collector and the simples collector headless services. It also works if I override ports on known receivers. So this one here, and we apply here, and once we get the services, we had before 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, now 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the demo, and I guess it's now back to you, Lucas.
Okay, thank you everyone for attending. This was or Sprint 41 for Kiali and Jaeger. So remember, next Monday we start Sprint 42 for us, and in 3 weeks we will have another demo for both projects. So thank you everyone for watching. So see you on next Sprint demo.